I know I'm acting stupid, but being dumb, maybe just a little bit foolish, but I feel so young. Welcome back. I wanted to show you a quick video on hot footing. I know a lot of you are dealing with tenants that have not been paying before the pandemic happened, and they basically have been taking advantage of you, so they haven't paid rent, possibly, for the past 8 months. So from January to August, you haven't received any payments, and you're probably at your end of what to do. Because, of course, many people taking advantage of the situation, you're probably behind on your mortgage payments and insurance for the homes, and it's making you look bad, and you possibly could lose your home. A spell that you can do is some hot footing. So you're going to need a hot foot candle. It is extremely hot in here, like the heat. I have a bunch of Scotch bonnet peppers. Those are lizard hands, the skin from the lizard. The skin from the lizard is good to dealing with people who you want to seek revenge on and you wish to quickly remove and do certain things to. There's sulfur in there. There's also fuck it up. There is 2 jars. One for the whole house of the people in there, and then one specifically for the person that's allowed all the people into the apartment and haven't been paying the rent. The hot foot is for the person whose name is on the lease, and there's a few petitions at the bottom as well. Now the key to doing this is to not allow them to get too much further and own you. And sometimes I know you feel sorry for them, and they may have kids, and you're like, okay, let them stay. And now your home is at risk of being in foreclosure because you haven't been able to make the payments on time, and possibly because you're paying rent for a few tenants plus yourself, if you live there. Even if you don't live there, you're paying to basically hold the weight of them staying there while not paying you and probably being disrespectful and doing all different types of things. So the key to working your hot foot is to continue to keep working them. Make sure you work some heavy protection and do your cleansing on a consistent basis. You don't need to call forth upon any spirits while you're hot footing, but if you want to, that is always your choice. But when you hot foot, you want to make sure you're working it and praying over it every single day. You want to also dry out your Scotch bonnet peppers. You want them to get really, really, really dry. And you want to also add in some ghost peppers. You want to use hot foot oil. You want to use hot foot powder. And you want to put a blend of hot foot herbs in there. And what you can do as well is you can stuff the lizard hands. The lizard hands, I place some sulfur at the bottom of the tray before I put anything in. Sulfur is good for removing things quickly. And even though it may take some time because the courts are closed, you still will have a great chance as soon as they open to immediately getting them up and out of there. Red candles are great for hot footing, getting rid of people. And I mentioned to you guys before, when you want to get rid of certain tenants and stuff, there are certain things you can do. But if you live on the property, you need to be very cautious. So you make a few hot foot candles. So you can make 9 hot foot candles, glass candles. And you want to set those and let those go on a consistent basis. Then you're going to make a few jars. The jars are going to work black candles so that no judge is going to favor them. No sheriff that's going to put them out is going to pity them. And you want to immediately put some heavy darkness upon them. You don't want to freeze them. If you freeze them, you're going to keep them stuck in that situation and stuck in your house. So freezing is a no-no when it comes to removing tenants. You want to immediately get them up and out of there. So hot peppers, the seeds from the Scotch bonnets are also in there as well. And he has hot foot powder on him. And then what I'll do is I'll burn a series of either male or female candle, depending on who is the person in the home. You want to burn a series of those. So if you can, you want to snuff this candle out halfway, and then you'll pick it back up and do it again. You want to continuously pray for them to be out. What ritual or chant do you say? You say the same one that you have written down in the petition. So you want to continuously place hot foot oil as well over the candles. The black candles, yes, you can put hot foot. You're going to put the hot foot on the black candles, but you want to also add some destruction on there because you want to destroy them. You want to make sure they have no chances of renting out a property again. And then later on, after you have evicted them, then you can work on getting the payments. Because right now, with the way
things are, a lot of people are going to be evicted. But there are some people that need to really be evicted for not paying. They haven't paid you. They've been messing up on payments since last year, since the year before. They haven't been good tenants. And with the pandemic happening, they have taken advantage of you. The peppers are extremely hot, so you're going to probably have to put a mask over your mouth. But working with them, I would recommend you to put some gloves on. And you want to go over this over and over. You want to start your first ritual for 9 days. Stop, cleanse up, protect, go back in again. Do it again for 9 days. You want to do a few sessions of hot footing. And you want to make sure that you use the hottest peppers you can use. So ghost peppers, scotch bonnet seeds, chili pepper seeds. The seeds are the hottest. So I have 2 jars. Actually, I have 2 jars here that you see, but I have made a total of 5 jars. And I have set a total of 21 candles for her. So she's in work of actually getting them out this week. Because the courts were closed, it wasn't much she could do on her end. And I told her as a landlord, still follow proper procedures. You don't want to do anything illegal. You know, let them say and do whatever they want to do. Because in the back of your mind, you know, you're fucking them up. You're working on them and you're doing everything you got to do. And, you know, so word of advice for your next tenants, you know, possibly do month to month. Do month to month. Don't lock in anyone for a year. Because in case they don't pay the rent, after 5 days of them not paying the rent, get the paperwork together. Don't give anyone a chance to owe you and mess up your credit, make you lose your house, and make you unable to take care of your family. And yes, people have taken advantage during the pandemic and just completely stopped paying rent. They stopped paying rent, they, you know, started doing whatever they wanted to do with their money. And now you could be at risk of losing your place and going into foreclosure if you don't get that money. And it's crazy because the tenants are given chances and they're not paying rent. But the landlords and homeowners, you guys really don't have a lot of people backing you. So, you know, it's a really fucked up situation as to where the landlords and businesses that own apartments and complexes and even, you know, 2-family homes, small homes, you guys are not as protected as much. And you're basically being told, you know, to wait. And the banks aren't giving you a chance. They want their money. Bills still have to be paid. That's the crazy thing. But when you have a tenant that needs to get out, immediately get them out. Immediately. Later on, you could deal with the energy of cleansing up the home. You cleanse that home up, and you work to bring in steady paying renters, people that are going to pay, people that, because what I'm seeing is people that don't want to pay rent, they're trying to get into new apartments so they can not pay rent there and then cause some shit again. So another year of another landlord not being able to get them out. No landlord protection for people that don't want to pay. And some people, they have lost their jobs, but a lot of people are getting unemployment and a lot of people are paying for other things other than rent. And it's really affecting a lot of people. It's affecting a lot of my clients. So I just wanted to make this quick video. I'll list the ingredients and the stuff that you can get from my shop to work this. And that wooden box, I got that from Dollar Tree. They're actually great for altars. You could just dispose them at the crossroads, which is a great place. You don't necessarily want to put them at a graveyard. Like, you just want them out your house. You don't want to, you know, put that heaviness on them. So a crossroads is good. Every time you do it, you can go to a crossroads before the sun rises. Get to a crossroads, walk or take your car, take a different road. So drive to a crossroads that you really don't go to a lot and drive back a different direction and don't look back. Anytime you dispose things, don't look back. You can work in a cardboard box, which is good because you can just dispose of everything after if you want to, or you could just wrap everything. What I do, I wrap everything in a black bag and I tie it again. And I get some tape and I wrap it really, really good because people are nosy. People will open bags they find outside. So I wrap it up really good. I dispose it. And if there is an energy with you, a source of protection, a spirit, you can leave an offering at the crossroads for them in assisting you. Now, you don't necessarily, like I said, when you work with voodoo, you want to work with a lot of the energy, a lot of the herbs and the roots and the oils and the candles. You want to power those up. So there particularly isn't a reason you would need to call upon any spirit, but in any event where you feel like you're too weak, then you should and you can. And if you're too weak overall, then you just call upon a root worker or get a few friends to work the ritual with you, and you guys can power up together and work together. And any kind of snake skin is good to removing people. Another way that you can get rid of people and break apart units, like if there's a boyfriend girlfriend, you want to get an onion and you want to cut it in half. You want to pin his picture and her picture on one end, and you're going to place some shit in that jar, and you're going to fill it with red wine vinegar. Now here's the thing that many of you probably can't do. That jar, after working it for about 21 days along with the ritual, it needs to go into the ocean. It needs to go into heavy flowing. So if a lot of you live by the ocean, especially waters you cannot swim in, which is the best thing, chuck that in there. You want to get it in there. The ocean is going to take it far. And with all those crazy waves and everything, even better for you. Rivers don't really have crazy streams and like the waves. So you want to get into an ocean. If you do have a crazy river, by all means do it, as long as the river is flowing east from you. That is a great thing to do. And like I said, dispose at a crossroads. You don't need to go put them in a graveyard unless you really hate them that much and you want to do other things to them. Then sure. Then that with the graveyards, you got to leave offerings. You got to get permission from certain spirits to use their graveyard dirt and different things like that. However which way you do it, you can work it this way. You can take my advice and you can add on different elements and things to it. Right now I'm getting a really clean burn, and that's what you want. Depending on the situation, if you get a messy burn, it could be a mess up thing. So it could be good. So when you're working situations to remove people, to destroy them and stuff like that, a crazy burn is good, but it could be bad because it could mean a lot of outlying things happening and them possibly finding out. That is the only candle that's jumping. So that is also a good sign too. When you see a high flame and it's jumping, that's the energy in the people. So they're probably gonna, be battling and fighting and cursing and doing all types of stuff, calling the police in different situations like that. You can make as many jars as you can for them. Make sure you're working each and every single one. If you can take the energy, do it. If you can't take the energy, do one jar. You can do a red skull. You can do red candles on the jars. I prefer the black because they're for the destruction and the revenge of them not paying rent and making, the landlords suffer and be back on bills and things like that. And they're purposely not paying the rent because they feel like they're going to get some kind of housing out of it. And also what they've been feeling is they feel like they can sue the landlord and take a house, which is pretty ridiculous for people that don't work and don't do anything and just want to not pay rent and feel like the pandemic is their friend and the pandemic is going to help them. But with the courts opening back up in a few days for some of you, and some of you possibly got evicted because you probably wasn't paying rent and whatnot, but you got to also consider people having bills to pay and things like that. So for those of you who have been evicted, it's unfortunate, but you got to consider other people too, and you got to consider that nobody's going to go behind and mess up their credit and their mortgage for you not wanting to pay rent. And for those of you that haven't been evicted, you possibly will be. And if you've been playing around and not paying rent all this time, it's going to happen. It's inevitable. Especially if you're being worked on, they're going to help for you. So you guys can comment below and we can get into a discussion of what you've been dealing with and how you've been dealing with tenants that have been living with you and not been paying and how you've been managing. Like, subscribe, and stay blessed.
City lights are shining so bright. All these empty faces, we don't care about them tonight. We're going